I'm already sick and I'm already saying something that doesn't make sense. So just forgive me. I haven't been live in a long time, guys, but the reason why I'm going live today is because of the Diddy trial. I feel that I would be remiss if I didn't speak on it. As a woman, I'm greatly affected by what I'm hearing. Just to hear some of the things that Cassie had to endure is a lot for me. And I just want to preempt this live. And again, forgive me for being sick. I sound a mess. But I just want to preempt the live by saying that if you have been watching the live, give yourself some time to just, take a break because it is a lot. I can't imagine having to go through something like that, but I'm not ashamed to say that, I have been in abusive relationships. I think almost every relationship that I've been in has been, whether it was, verbal, emotional, mental, definitely not to the extent that Cassie endured. Not even 1% of that, because I've just always been that strong black woman prototype. You know what I mean? Where I would say, I've seen so many other women go through things, and I just, hey, Cassie, thanks for tuning in. And I always just told myself I would never allow myself to be abused by a man, and I'm proud to say that I haven't. Don't try me. But some have tried, and they didn't get too far, and they did regret that. I remember, I might tell that story. It's not really my story to tell, but I remember as a kid, I remember standing up to someone and saying, hey, why did you think that you could do that to that person? I'm like 9 years old saying this, and I'm still that woman today. But I still found myself kind of like victim blaming. Like, why didn't Cassie leave? Why did she stay? Because I would leave. Like, you couldn't even ask me to do something like that and I would leave. You couldn't even get me to contemplate if I would do that. No, this is not happening. Most women, I think, wouldn't agree to that. Even at, some say she was 19. She was actually 22 when all of it started. But 19, 22, 18, 17, I'm not allowing you to have me do something I don't want to do. It just wasn't happening. And it's not happening today. Although I can say I have been in situations where I did something for my man that I normally wouldn't do. Hey, Bobby, thanks for tuning in. And I know we all have, as women, we have done things that we wouldn't do, or that we didn't necessarily want to do for a man. So, but just put that on steroids. Put that times 10 if you have someone who is a billionaire, who has success, who has assets, and that's something that you're looking for. You have to question yourself, would you cross that line? I know I wouldn't. I'm not blaming any woman who would, but I know I wouldn't. And even if she agreed to that, even if she never put him on blast, even if she never sued him, even if Diddy never got to this point, it is still an issue. Why did he feel like he could do that? Like, at one point in time in your life, you're going to have to face yourself, even if it's not a jury of 12. You are going to have to face up to that. Because that's something on you that you have to live with, and know that you force another human being to do this, even if it was out of love, even if it was out of loyalty, even if it was for money. That was just so animalistic, so inhumane, the things that you made that girl do. And I'm saying made because she did it for you. She wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for you. I would never, and I know most of you listening would never cause another human being that kind of pain for your pleasure. And I don't know how Diddy lives with himself. I couldn't live with myself if I know I treated another human being that way. And I know women who are not here anymore because they chose not to be, if you catch what I'm saying, because of smaller things. I know women who have lost their minds and never got it back because of going through much less than what Cassie went through. Just from being forced into threesomes. Just from not wanting to endure being cheated on. I know women who never came back from that because their man is constantly cheating, constantly leaving them, constantly mentally abusing them. So just imagine if you're Cassie. She's strong. She's strong that she did it. She's strong that she lived through it. And she's strong that she is here to talk about it. But as women, we have to definitely remember that if it happened to one of us, it can happen to us all. I don't care how strong you are. You don't know what you would do until you're in those shoes. And also, you don't know what somebody that you love is going through. There could be somebody that you love that is going through that right now. It could be your daughter, it could be your sister, it could be your mother. Women don't tell everything. There are a lot of women who are going through things. And I'm like, I know I even looked at Cassie and Diddy and I was like, wow, he loves her. Look at how much he does for her. Because I couldn't do it either, Jazzy. I couldn't do it. Thanks for subscribing, Bobby. Especially since I saw a mess today. But I don't think that most people could have endured that, because that just does something to your psyche. And every day of her life, she has to live with that. And then now people knowing what she endured, she has like a mark on her. Because as much as people empathize with her, there's going to be some who don't. There's going to be those who say, why did she let him do that? And I couldn't do that. And I would never have done that. And they're going to be looking at her husband and her children like she's damaged goods. That's just how humans work. But as women, we can't do that because there's so many of us who are going through not exactly what Cassie is going through, but something that could cause us as much harm, that could cause us as much pain when it comes to being in relationships. And I know that I'm going to sound like I'm men bashing, and I hate to say that, but so many women, in order to be married, in order to be in a relationship, they are going through some stuff, some hardcore stuff. And I know some of you are going to say, not me, girl, not me. But even if it's okay, you have to stay up later because your husband is getting home late and he expects you to stay up and talk with him. Even if to me, it's not just about, okay, give and take. It's not just about give and take. Sometimes it's much more than that. And you're giving and you're giving. And no one is going upside your head. No one is taking your money. No, you're not being physically abused. No, you're not being financially abused, but mentally. And some people who, if they saw your husband, the way he talked to you, or the way you have to just, you have to talk to him a certain way, or you have to make sure the house is a certain way, make sure you look a certain way, or make sure that you're not friends with certain people, that you don't go and spend as much time with your mom and your family like you used to. You don't hang out with certain friends like you used to because you don't want to upset him. You don't want to rock the boat. You have to go through so much in order to have that perfect marriage, because you have to cater to him. Yes. Hey everybody, thank you for joining. I'm on my way to my doctors. But I just wanted to talk to you I don't care if a woman loves to have that stuff done. At some point, doing something unnatural like that, doing something against, I'm a Christian, against the laws of God, that is going to come back to you. That's going to hit you spiritually. You have to live with yourself as a woman, and you allow that, not even allow that, but you participated in those type of things. You're going to have to come and face yourself, and you have to live with yourself, even if you're a woman of the night and you are in that type of business, and you're selling dances, or you're on the street corner, wherever you are. That is something that when you have to sleep at night, you're going to have to think about, wait a minute, I sold myself. So even if Cassie agreed to that, it was still abuse. Even if it was for money, it was still abuse. Plain and simple. And just over the last year, I've seen so many women who look like us who are not here anymore because they have been taken out by men. I've seen so many children. What's her name? The little girl in Detroit. I can't think of her name, baby girl. They haven't found her yet. Somebody help me remember her name. And then the little girl who was taken out by her own father. I mean, he did the most horrible things to her, just again and again and again and again. You just see these cases happening again and again and again. And you see this long laundry list of times these people were arrested and they weren't kept in jail. They were let out time and time again to come out, and not just hurt one woman, but several women. How many times is this going to happen? How many times are we going to have to endure this kind of BS? And when you look at the behind the scenes, it's children whose parents weren't paying attention, whose mother let some guy she didn't know in. It's women who are speaking out and saying things against the women who endure it. It's the public saying, well, that's her fault. She could have just left. And the whole time, nobody's protecting women and young girls, young boys. I mean, we got to change that. No way that in 2025 should any woman be enduring something like what Cassie endured. Should any woman be losing her life, especially the first time you do something like that. The first time you can't control yourself. You want to act like an animal, you should be caged up like an animal. And I'm just saying, hey, live your life the way you choose to, but as long as you're not infringing on anyone else's, that's on you. If you got to talk to people crazy, be single. If you got to put your hands on a woman, be single. Because no adult has a right to do that to another adult. And definitely, if you know you like a certain type of thing, go do that. Don't force somebody else to take your place so you can live vicariously through them because you're ashamed to live in your truth. What kind of mess is that? And then the women assisted him because he has money. I don't think anybody should have been able to get a deal and be able to testify against him. Everybody should have had to be culpable, because that's another thing. People like Diddy can't get away with what they're doing if they don't have people assisting them. People like Diddy can't continue to harm women if they have to pay for what they do. And he did a laundry list of things just over the years. Now his chickens are coming home to roost, which just begs the question that how do people think that they can get away with doing things when you least suspect it? It's going to come back to you, and that's why I wrote that in my story today. Not in my stories on YouTube. I wrote that on my community tab or on a post that everybody will pay for what they do. So if you're out there and you think you can put your hands on women, you can abuse women and children, you're going to pay for that one day. And if you're a woman who has sons or you have brothers and you're taking up for them, you're going to pay for that one day. If you're somebody whose dad is doing things to kids, or you know a man who's doing something like that and you stand by him and you stand in support of that, you're going to pay for that. We have to stand up for one another, and we have to say, hey, enough is enough. pills and watching her child leave this earth while they're doing something to her friend. And I know you guys probably heard about that story. I'm not speaking in code because I don't know what's culture on YouTube. But a father gave his daughter something and she's passing away while he's sitting up doing something with somebody else, with her friend taking advantage of her. The little girl, I think she was in Detroit also. I might be remiss in not saying it correctly, but her father, I mean, the things that he did to her when they found her, crazy, crazy. But anyway, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I just had to get that off my chest, and I'll probably be checking out of this Diddy Cassie stuff because it's a lot on your spirit. Naziah, that poor baby. It's a lot of Naziahs out there. It's a lot of Naziahs out there because somebody can't leave a man alone. Because somebody rather call a child fast than to